Bloated with self-confidence, we were caught celebrating a moment that we had not yet begun to earn. From the start, we could not anticipate the meaning of this moment because there were just too many unanswered questions. Am I cut out for this? Did I make the right choice coming to law school? Am I crazy? How accurate is the movie Legally Blonde? I can tell you from experience that it's spot on. How much sleep will I lose? Well, more like how much sleep will I get? How many friends will I make, if any? Am I crazy? I think we all know the answer to that one now, too. Plagued by these pressing questions, we became increasingly aware of the ominous years ahead, and we began to lose the certainty of today. For some of us, reality set in quickly when we exceeded our maximum efforts from undergrad before the first day of classes. For others, reality set in when the professor assured them that that wasn't a typo on the syllabus, there really was just one test. In time, we all realized that our Juris Doctorate degrees were never a guarantee, but instead a true achievement, decorated in diligence and fortitude. Finally, the haze has lifted. We have completed the journey from clarity to devastating uncertainty to clarity once again. But even still, when Dean Gaudio tells us today that we are lawyers, I'm sure that all of us will think, well, not yet. As now that we are no longer ignorant, we know what looms ahead. But let's remove that cloud from our skies, because today is no false peak. It is the pinnacle of our dedication, and the view reveals all that we have surmounted. Today, we are doctors of law. We join the legal profession, eager to make our mark. We arrive as independent leaders, having earned our degrees with countless hours of reading and self-study. We also arrive together as study groups, sections, and friends. These individual and collective efforts underscore a lesson greater than any law school lecture. There is a time to lean and a time to lead. The challenge of our careers lies in creating harmony between the two. We must know when to seek guidance and when to guide others. Law school has taught us how to strike this balance. During our infancy in 1L year, we became well acquainted with utter helplessness. Like the answer to virtually every legal question, it depends. We depended on one another for guidance through the trenches. We leaned on each other heavily, seeking assurance that others were just as anxious as we were, and we hoped just as clueless. We took twisted comfort in each other's wrong answers because they reminded us that we were not alone. Perhaps the best example of our collective leaning took place about 10 minutes into every class when the professor would say those dreaded words, which brings us to our first case, and then slowly return to the podium where they would review the seating chart at a painstaking pace. It was then that we leaned most, clenching fists and looking down to improve our chances, or maybe making eye contact because, let's be honest, we were never sure of our strategy. That moment when our name was not called. We leaned on that poor person whose name was called, our trusted leader there to save the day, to explain to us who owned the box and the intricacies of quasi-in rem jurisdiction. And in turn, our trusted leader leaned on us, hoping for a volunteer to explain who owned the box and to please at least define quasi-in rem jurisdiction. I still can't. At the very least, they leaned on us for patience and kindness. Outside of the classroom, we formed study groups to find out what just happened inside the classroom. When we submerged ourselves in studies. We leaned on family and friends, having faith that they would be there when we resurfaced. And in those moments of self-doubt, when we found ourselves lost underwater, we depended on family and friends to give us air and renewed assurance that there was a light and that we were moving toward it. And when, much to our surprise, the world outside of law school continued on without us and gave us much more than we could bear, we leaned on one another to help see us through, not only with class notes, but also knowing looks, reminding us that we were not alone. As much as we have leaned on one another over these past years, we have also led one another in many ways. At first, our leadership was coerced, as we were pushed over the edge and out of our comfort zones, forced into our first oral arguments to explain whether the Sheridans were responsible for those boozed-up teens, or how Brian Anderson's t-shirt was like black armbands and bong hits for Jesus. In time, we have grown less timid and more certain. We have not only embraced leadership roles as they were handed to us, but we have sought them out. We have participated in clubs, clinics, externships, competitions, and jobs. We have been leaders in the classroom, and some of us have occasion to be leaders in the courtroom. Naturally, as we have progressed through our years at Western New England University School of Law, we have become more independent and less dependent. It might seem fitting then to view our walk across the stage as the transition from dependence to independence. But if this is the lesson we leave with, we risk doing a disservice to ourselves and to our future clients. True advocacy is about knowing when to lean and when to lead. If we leave here utterly dependent, then we will only ever be advocates by proxy, parroting the advice of others instead of generating our own. And if we leave here virtually independent, then we will be turning away from our greatest legal resource, each other. Not just the individuals in this room, but the greater legal profession as a whole. As new graduates, we join an interdependent network of lawyers who rely upon one another for guidance, no matter their age or pedigree. We must remember to serve our clients, not our egos, and to ask for support at uncertain turns. There will be moments that will feel like our first cold call, when our clients look to us for the answers, when a judge announces, "I'll hear you, counsel," or when a senior partner says, "Tell me why you're wrong." The best advocates know when to ask for help and when to stand firmly on their own to advocate for those relying upon their voice. So, as we walk across the stage to receive our degrees, we should remember the moments that we leaned on each other and led one another. And as we walk through the doors of Symphony Hall, we must remember that we do not relinquish these moments. Instead, we cherish them and allow them to guide us throughout our careers. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2013.